The US says it is not seeking conflict with China as rare high-level talks kick off in Tianjin. But things got off to a tense start, with Beijing urging the US to stop demonizing China. It has blamed Washington for a stalemate in relations. China says the US must change its misguided mindset and stop stepping on red lines. It's issued a list of demands to the US, which includes lifting sanctions on Chinese officials and visa restrictions on students. US Deputy Secretary of State Wendy Sherman is the highest-level US official to visit China under the Biden administration. The last time both sides held major talks, things collapsed into a mudslinging match in Anchorage, Alaska.
总体看，这次会谈深入、坦率，增进了对彼此立场的了解，对争取下一阶段中美关系健康发展是有益的。
Hello, Min Min is covering the story from China tonight. She joins us now. Min Min, Beijing starting things off on the offensive.
Indeed, the Chinese Vice Foreign Minister Xie Feng did not mince his words today. He said that that the U.S. is not in a position to lecture China on democracy and human rights. He also said that China-U.S. relations is at a stalemate because the U.S. has been painting China as an imaginary enemy, using it as a punching bag for all that is going wrong in its country. He also said that the U.S.-led international order is something that's designed to benefit itself at the expense of others, accusing the U.S. of introducing what it calls the rule of the jungle, where the big bullies the small. Now, this is not surprising given that China has always seen the adversarial stance from the U.S. as an attempt to contain and suppress China. Remember, this just came after China sanctioned 6 individuals and an entity in the U.S. in a tit-for-tat response after the U.S. sanctioned Chinese officials over Hong Kong human rights issues. And in fact, this is a break from the past because China did not even bother with a gesture of goodwill ahead of a high-level talk like this. And in fact, yesterday, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi gave the U.S. a dressing down, vowing to teach the U.S. On how to, treat other countries equally. And when U.S. State Department officials said that they would be meeting China from a position of strength, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson slammed the statement, calling it arrogant and hypocritical. Now, of course, at the end of his meeting, Chinese Vice Foreign Minister Xie Feng did call for solidarity and collaboration, asking the U.S. to engage with it from a basis of mutual respect and win-win cooperation, and asking China to accept a peaceful coexistence with China. But from what we are seeing, there are no concrete outcomes from the talks. It's looking more like a gesture to stay in touch and to keep high-level communications open between the two countries.
And Min Min, this meeting is seen as well as a precursor to talks between Joe Biden and Xi Jinping.
Indeed, it is, but how successful a Xi-Biden summit will be and whether it's still on the table remains to be seen. Today's meeting is echoing the tone set in Alaska when China's top diplomat gave a 16-minute lecture to the U.S. on its hypocrisy and arrogance. And Washington has managed to anger Beijing over a whole host of issues over the last few months, including calling for an inquiry over the origins of COVID-19, accusing it of committing cyber attacks, as well as taking an issue with human rights issues in Hong Kong and in Xinjiang. So China has said that for talks to resume, it depends on whether the U.S. is sincere, and what that means is whether U.S. will continue to interfere in what China sees as its internal affairs. And so there is still a lot up in speculation, but what we are seeing today, it looks like status quo. It doesn't look like there would be a major change in trajectory of U.S.-China relations anytime soon.
Thanks for getting us up to speed with that. Lo Min Min speaking to us from Beijing.